feel?
Do you want the truth?
Uh-huh.
I'm scared. How about you? Margie, what are you folks gonna say?
Well, let's go home and find out.
Hello, dear.
Oh, I thought you'd never get out of that meeting. I called the office, but they kept telling me you were tied up. I hope you're not too tired.
Oh, I'll survive. Too tired for what?
Fred's here.
What's so strange about that? He's usually here.
Well...
Big crisis?
Mm-hmm.
And Khrushchev again, eh?
Would you like a drink first?
Well, if it's Khrushchev, make it a double.
You're gonna need a clear head. Margie.
Oh?
Hi, Dad.
Hello, Margie. Hello, Fred.
Hello, Mr. Graham. How are you, sir?
How are you? Say, this looks like a pretty expensive crisis. What's this one going to cost me?
Now, don't tease, Dad. You'd better listen, John. It's important.
Fire ahead. I'm all ears.
Well, Fred and I are going to be married.
What?
Yes, sir. That's right, Mr. Graham.
When?
Right away. We went down to City Hall this afternoon and got all the papers. Of course, I'm still underage, but that's no problem. All I need is the consent of a parent.
That's all you need, eh?
Dad, you know what I mean.
When did you decide this?
Yesterday. I mean, well, we've been thinking about it for some time, but we really just decided yesterday, sir.
And what made you decide?
Well, some friends of ours, Joe and Helen Baker, well, he's a senior, but she's only a sophomore. Well, they got married about a year ago, and, well, they just found the most wonderful apartment.
Oh, it's great.
Well, Fred and I were visiting them, and, well, we just decided to get married.
Is this some kind of an epidemic that's running over the campus like intestinal flu?
Oh, stop it, Dad.
Ellen, did you know about this?
No, dear, I just found out. No, we just told Mother about it a few minutes ago. We wanted to keep it as a surprise for both of you.
It's a surprise, all right.
But you don't mind, do you? After all, Fred and I have known each other for a long time, and, well, you know his family, and...
Fred, someday I'll be glad to welcome you to the family, but let's wait a while. You're both so young.
Well, sir, I'm 19. Well, I graduate from college next year.
Margie's only 17 and a freshman. But age has nothing to do with it.
Age has a lot to do with it. Marriage is a very serious thing. It means a home, family, children. It's not just a long football weekend, you know.
Well, of course I know.
But do you?
Maybe we all ought to think about this a little more, dear. Well, you don't mean that, Mother. You mean give Dad time to talk us out of it.
Now, Margie...
Well, we're not going to be talked out of it. Fred and I want to be together, and we're going to get married.
Margie, Ellen, would you mind leaving Fred and me alone for a few minutes?
No. You can talk to both of us.
You know I wouldn't say anything against you. Even if I wanted to, Fred wouldn't let me.
Come on, it's all right, Margie. You go ahead.
Come on, darling. Even if the sky falls, we still have to get dinner started.
Oh, don't be so tragic, Mother. It's no crime to get married. You did it yourself.
Sit down, Fred.
Thank you, Mr. Graham.
How about a cigarette?
No, thank you. I have my own.
Now, please understand, Fred, there's nothing personal in this. But let's look at the situation. You have another year of college. That means you couldn't support Margie unless you intend to drop out and go to work, do you?
Well, no, sir. I'm planning to finish.
Good. I think you should. But what about financing your marriage?
Well, I'm sure that my father will keep on giving me my allowance, sir.
Has he said so?
Well, no, I haven't talked it over with him yet. Margie wanted you and Mrs. Graham to be the first to know.
Well, that might take care of you, but what about my daughter?
Well, we thought that she'd keep on giving Margie her allowance.
After she was Mrs. Fred Judson and had moved to another home?
Well, it's no more than you would have done anyway, sir. I mean, she has 3 more years of school. And, well, we're not asking for anything extra, Mr. Graham. It's just that we can get by on our combined allowances, and...
What if you have a child?
Oh, we're not expecting a family right away, sir.
Don't bank on it. 1 and 1 doesn't always make 2. Sometimes it makes 3, when you least expect it. What happens to your education then, yours and Margie's?
Well, I guess that'd be pretty educational. Well, the thing is, I only have 1 more year, Mr. Graham.
Fred, the basis of a good marriage is independence. A man and wife have to make their own way, solve their own problems. You can't be subsidized by your parents without a certain amount of well-meant interference. You won't be able to avoid it, and it'll wreck your marriage before it starts.
Well, the thing is, it's fine to wait for independence if there's time.
Time? You're only 19.
Well, the way the world is today, it's liable to blow up at any moment.
Please, spare me the world crisis. For my father, it was a war. For me, it was a war and a depression. For you, it's the bomb. For your son, it'll be something else.
Yeah, if he survives the strontium-90 in his milk.
Fred, death is the common hazard and common fate of everything alive. You didn't just discover it.
Well, for me, I did.
Would you like to stay to supper, darling?
No, I better get home, Margie, and talk to Dad. I'll see you later, okay? Good night, Mr. Graham.
Good night, Fred. And think about what I told you, huh?
Yes, sir.
Sorry I kept you waiting so long.
Hello, Charlie.
I have been in a hot foursome. I just finished up with a putt on the 18th green that cost Frank Blaine a cool $100. Yeah. Waiter, bring me the same as this. Put them both on my tab. Well,
I take it Fred has talked to you, huh?
you take it right. I knew he was crazy about your Margie. I'm crazy about it, too. I had no idea these kids want to get married so soon.
Well, what are we going to do about it?
Do about it? What do you mean?
Didn't Fred tell you their plan to stay on at college and have us support them?
Sure.
That's all right with you?
Well, sure. We can afford it. Won't hurt either of us.
That's not the point, Charlie. Sure, we can afford it. But can we afford to do that to our kids?
Do what to our kids?
Start them out in their married lives on a handout basis. They'd be deadbeats living off our charity. They've got to stand on their own 2 feet.
Oh, now, look, John, I stumbled around on my own 2 feet for 12 long years before I got married. Molly's old man hadn't chipped in. I had to wait 12 more. That is, if she'd have waited.
Yes, but you were working. You were out on your own.
You're darn right I was. I had that bulldozer. I was hiring it out by the day. But the trouble was, it was the Depression. Nobody was buying it.
Then that was different. You'd accepted the responsibility of being head of a family. You weren't taking handouts as a way of life.
Fred told me you were against their getting married so soon. I thought it was just because they were so young.
Well, that's certainly a factor. The divorce rate shows that married couples over 21 have 6 times as good a chance of making a go of it as kids under that age.
Look, John, these kids aren't statistics. They're people. You got married, I got married. They want to get married. What are you going to do to stop them?
I know what I'm going to do. Margie's underage. She needs my consent, and I'm not going to give it.
Look, I have great respect for a man of principle, but there are times when principles must give way to reality.
Spare me the amateur philosophy.
I say if you don't go along with these kids, you're asking for trouble.
Meaning what?
Oh, get your head out of the sand, man. They're young. You try to stop them from getting married, you'll just force them into doing something else.
Charlie, as long as I've known you, make one more crack like that and we're gonna go to the mat.
Look, will you calm down, John? Now, look, this is what is known as the facts of life. I ought to know. I came up the hard way. I had to fight for everything I've got. Well, if I can stop my son from having to do that because my money will make things easier for him, I'm very happy to do so. And if you're so cheap that you won't help, I'll support both of them. Look, will you wake up, man? This is the 20th century. It's almost the 21st. Never mind that sandwich. Bring my tab into the bar.
I wish that urban redevelopment committee of yours would get a move on, John. We certainly could use more parking space downtown.
Pretty grim, isn't it?
Awful. Margie and I did manage to get into a couple of shops today.
Mother's a great believer in new clothes to mend heartbreaks. It's the next best thing to a trip to Europe.
Now, darling, you needed those new blouses. We could have decided on the skirts, too, if you hadn't had to run off and do something with Fred.
The something I had to do with Fred was get blood tests. That ought to convince somebody around here that we're serious.
Hello? Oh, yes, Fred. Just a minute.
I'll take it upstairs.
She'll be right there, Fred. More coffee, darling.
Please. Helen, do you think Margie is so different from you when you were her age?
Well, I don't know why.
Well, I mean, I just can't imagine you getting out of line.
Out of line?
Well,
Now, who put that idea into your head? Charlie Judson?
how he bind me up with his implications. Practically said right out that if they didn't get married, they'd...
Well, there's always that possibility.
Hey, where do you stand on this thing?
Well, right beside you. Where else would I?
Well, then...
But it doesn't prevent me from seeing what might happen and worrying about it.
Do you mean to tell me that she can't be expected to wait for one more year, at least till the boy gets out of college and goes to work?
Just tell me one thing, Dad.
Well, whatever it is, you've evidently made up your mind already.
Did you tell Fred's father that we were a couple of deadbeats trying to live off your charity?
Now, don't put it that way. We had a long talk. Both of us got hot under the collar. I might have said things that I...
Margie, where are you going? To my sorority tonight. After that, I don't know.
Baby, listen.
If I can't live off your charity when I'm married, then I don't intend to do it when I'm single either.
Now listen, Margie.
Let her go, dear. We'll only wind up in a big fight with all of us saying things we'll regret. Wait till she cools off. John, I'm going to sign that paper. It's too big a risk not to.
You don't have much faith in her, do you?
Well, they might elope across the state line, falsify their ages. There's all kinds of charming possibilities.
That wouldn't stand up. We could have it annulled.
Would you? Like fun you would. We'd all wind up strangers and enemies, and I don't want that.
Well, do you think I do? But what's right is right.
Well, sometimes it's wrong to be right. She only needs the consent of one parent. I'm going to sign that paper. Such a beautiful Saturday, dear. Why don't you go out to the club and play some golf?
No, thanks. If I go to the club, I might run into Charlie Judson, and I'm not in the mood. What's that stuff?
Oh, I'm taking it over to their new apartment to help Margie get it ready. Won't you change your mind about the wedding?
I certainly will not. How could I go to their wedding without looking like a hypocrite? I still say it's wrong, absolutely wrong. Better not keep Fred waiting. You know, these kids are pretty impatient.
Forgive me.
I could be wrong, too, you know, but I don't think I am.
See you later, dear.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Drive slow.
hello, sir. I didn't know you were here.
Hi, Fred. What's on your mind?
Well, Mrs. Graham left these things here, sir.
Oh. Hello? Molly? Oh, yes, yeah. How are you? Yes, fine. Yeah. Fred? Yes, he's here. Fred. It's your mother.
Hello, Mom? Yeah, well, I know there's no phone connected there, Yeah, well, that's great, Mom, but we don't want to go to a big hotel. Well, we made some other arrangements. Yeah, well, I know the reservations are hard to get, but... Well, look, Mom, this is our honeymoon. Okay, I'll talk it over with Margie. What? Well, you made the reservations already? Well, you're not asking me, then you're telling me. All right, Mom. Okay, all right. Well, I'll see you later, Mr. Graham.
Okay, Fred.
How's it going?
Slowly.
Yeah, too slowly. Won't be long now, will it?
Hey, what happened to Mother?
She had to get some hooks or something. She's downstairs. Well, this is going to be great, isn't it?
I hope you won't mind my cooking.
Just as long as I don't have to wash dishes.
Well, I'll serve TV dinners, and then we won't have to do any dishes. And then I'll give you an extra big kiss when you come home at night.
Except we'll be coming home from school together.
Oh, that's right. Hey, guess what this is?
It's a key to the apartment.
The honeymoon cabin at Elkwood.
Oh.
Helen dropped it by this morning. She said that everything's ready and waiting, and there's a huge pile of firewood, because it gets cold at night at this time of year.
Yeah, I guess.
It's only a couple of hours from the church, so we can go right...
Margie, there's something I've got to tell you.
Yeah?
You know when I stopped by your father?
Yeah? Well, go on, Fred.
Well, it can wait. That's your mother. You better let her.
Hello, darling.
Hi.
I suddenly remembered we had no hooks to hang the cups. How are we coming?
Are you kidding?
Oh, what a mess. Oh, well, let's get started, shall we?
Now, don't panic, Mother. We're not getting married till Wednesday.
Well, Fred, why don't you clean up some of those papers?
All right.
How do you like this, honey?
Nice.
I thought it was kind of pretty.
Hey, Mother.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk to Dad about coming to the wedding?
Yes, dear, but I'm afraid it didn't do any good.
Well, you think if I try?
There's no harm in trying.
It'd be awful if Dad didn't come.
I know, dear. Say, this is lovely, isn't it?
Well, it's a solid pattern, and I sort of had a floral effect in mind.
But, Margie, you've got floral slip covers. Your floral drapes, your room's going to be too busy.
Well, not for me, Mother.
Well, it's your apartment. It's an expensive piece of material, Margie. Tell you what, if you like it, I'll make you a present of the drape.
Oh, I can't let you do that.
Why not?
Well, we're poor. We have to live down to our income.
Oh, silly, you know it'll give me a great deal of pleasure.
All right, Mother.
Good. I'll take care of it on Monday. Well, shall we get started in the kitchen? I'll put up the hooks inside the cabinet.
Oh, but Mother, I told you I'd rather hang the cups over the sink.
Oh, nonsense, dear. They'll just be dust collectors. I'll take care of it myself.
She's having a wonderful time, isn't she?
Yeah, she sure is.
I guess it's the instinct to feather a nest or whatever. Hey, are you getting tired of me already?
No, I was just I'm thinking about something.
You know, I never did like this Chinese urn in here. But in Margie and Fred's new apartment, it would fit in perfectly. I wish you could see it, John. It's just as cute and romantic. Couldn't you stop in someday?
No, I couldn't.
I think your attitude's unreasonable. You can't pretend your daughter doesn't exist. She's going to ask you herself to come to the wedding.
Please stop talking about it.
Oh, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Hang around to pick up the pieces, I guess.
That's Margie. Be gentle with her.
What do you mean, be gentle? Have I been beating her or something?
Well, Charlie, what a pleasant surprise.
Ellen? John in?
Well, yes, come in.
Hello, Charlie.
Now, look. I'm not going to stay long. I shouldn't even be here. I ought to be outside counting up to 10 or something. I want to ask you one question.
Shoot.
Just what did you say to my son?
Well, why? What happened?
Plenty. He's going to leave school and go to work.
Good for him.
You think so? Well, I don't. You've been filling him full of your cockeyed ideas about going to work to support the little woman come rain or high water.
I haven't talked to Fred since the night he and Margie told us they were going to get married. I saw him this morning, but we didn't talk.
Well, what happened to him? He came home about an hour ago and said he was quitting school. I hit the ceiling.
You must have a pretty low ceiling. I told you not to buy that modern house.
Look, I am in no mood for jokes. I want this boy to graduate with a diploma in his hand, something I never had.
You want a lot of things, Charlie, but you can't have them all.
Well, who gave him these wild ideas if not you?
Yeah, maybe Fred can tell us.
What wild idea?
Quitting college. Who talked you into it?
Nobody. But the plan's been changed. I'm staying on at school. I'm graduating.
Huh. It's more like it.
Will somebody tell me what this is all about?
Certainly, Mr. Graham. It's very simple. It took me a while to get it, but finally the light flashed on. Well, it's like you said, sir. You can't have a marriage without independence.
I wasn't sure you heard me.
Well, this morning when Mom called, you said it all over again without even opening your mouth.
I must practice that.
You knew what was happening. Mom had made all the arrangements for our honeymoon, a place that we didn't want to go to. I couldn't say no to her. Pop was paying all the freight.
I'm sure that thought never ended.
Not any more than when you talked Margie and the drapes you wanted our apartment.
I?
Yes, you, Mother. Remember the silk drapes we couldn't afford?
Oh.
Well, now, don't feel bad about it, please. It's only natural. Well, anyway, Margie and I talked it over, and we decided that when we get married, we want to pay our own way, and we want to make our own decision.
Well, then the wedding is off?
No, Dad, it's postponed until I finish school and get a job.
Margie?
Don't let this fella get away. He's worth hanging on to.